Welcome to another episode of the Truth Talk podcast. Today I'm joined here with Ranga. Say that right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So I guess you can just go ahead and introduce yourself.
All right. My name is Ranga. I'm 17 years old. I am a full-time power lifter, and I am a content creator for usually for Instagram Reels.
So for those of you who don't know, Ranga grew his IG to over 5,000 in pretty close to 2 months, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's pretty impressive and all using Instagram Reels. So there's a lot of cool stuff that he's done, and I kind of wanted to bring him on today to talk about, how his fitness journey and his IG journey, right? So I guess the first thing is I'm pretty sure everyone has their own story of kind of how they got into the gym. I kind of just wanted to ask you like what got you into the gym?
What got me into the gym was mainly just like being a scrawny kid when you like grew up and a like obviously having a sport where you truly loved. I played basketball for a while
Hmm.
and I wanted to grow some strength. I wanted to grow some size just to go on the court. So then I was like, okay. So I asked my friend, Joe, like, can you teach me how to like do these type of workouts in the gym? I was like, he's like, yeah, yeah, for sure. We went consistently for a few weeks in the summer of 2021.
Hmm.
And therefore I was like, oh, I'm liking this, like I like getting, I'm seeing some muscle growth. I was like, all right. So then later that time, I was like, okay, I'm being consistent. And then I seen a little bit more progress. I fell in love with it. Then fast forward for a few years later, um, me and him stopped becoming friends, but I he stopped being inconsistent, which I was. And I saw a lot of growth in my body. So I was like, okay,
So do you
let
think that that progress is kind of what motivated you to keep
the
going?
progress. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
And I
seeing like
know
it's
lifting for basketball is like really different than if you were to
yeah.
lift, just like what you're doing now, right?
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah, it is. It
so
was sorry, go
go
ahead.
ahead. No, you can
I
go
was
ahead.
saying like having basketball training and like bodybuilding training is completely different. Obviously for basketball, you want to like have core mobility, like core ankle mobility, all that stuff, just like to feel flimsy type, you know? But
Hmm.
for bodybuilding, I was like, but then I stopped playing basketball. Then later the next year, I was like, okay, let's just do bodybuilding. And then I grew more my arms, my chest, and everything. So I was like, oh, I fell in love with it. So then now, literally 4 months ago, I was like, I want to change my life. Let's start powerlifting because I want to increase my numbers. So then I did powerlift for a while, and then I decided like, hey, I gotta do a project for my graduation. So let's make an Instagram account. How long we can achieve this, you know?
Yeah. And that's kind of how you got into Instagram and sort of the thing, just a project, really. That's
Yeah, pretty
actually
much.
interesting.
Yeah,
Um, and sort of just for the viewers that like haven't seen you, like how old are you for the viewers?
17.
17. So growing your Instagram to over 5K at 17 is kind of crazy. And you did it all using Reels. So like how did you like kind of get into using Reels and everything?
Well, I made a brand new Instagram account, and then I was like, okay, I'm deciding to like see what's the latest trends of like
Mhm.
just fitness in general. What's the
Yeah.
trending sounds? Seeing what's actually just trending videos, and I just copied that and just kind of went along with it. Did a lot
Mhm.
of hashtags, and then overnight, I'm like, okay, I would post it in the morning, and the next day it would probably go maybe 2 to 3K views, maybe to like 160 to 200, depending on what video it is,
Mhm.
and just let it be there.
Yeah. And the best thing about Instagram, right, is you can post something and it's just constantly there, right? You're not going to take it under. You're always going to be getting views. You're always going to be getting engagement, right? Um,
Exactly.
so I mean, I also wanted to kind of talk about like your powerlifting journey, right? How did that come about and how did you get like I know gym, right? You kind of took it from gym, like from basketball to gym to kind of powerlifting, right? How did that come about?
Um, Honestly, when I started powerlifting, well, just before that, I was like hey, I kind of want to try something different, you know? I don't want to do the same old where go to the gym, get a good pump for an hour or two, and then go back home, eat my protein, and then just like, you know, go on TikTok or like
Yeah.
Reels. So then, I want to like increase my numbers. I want to increase my bench. I want to compete. I want to like get medals. I want to like have like a good goal, you know?
You want something tangible, right? Something you can like
Exactly.
grasp, right?
Exactly.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah. So that's
And
kind of how you
then,
got into powerlifting, sort of
yeah,
like the.
pretty much. I just wanted to increase my numbers. And I was like, oh,
You get into competing for powerlifting?
um, I had this coach and he was from the UK. So then I was like, we we talked and I was like, okay, I want to compete this December 17th on this event. And he's like, okay, are you sure gonna be ready? I'm like, I might be ready. So then see the experience, right?
Yeah.
So as soon as I competed, I was just trying to like, get some new numbers, trying to see if I hit a new PR for squat, bench, and deadlift. But then I was like, my squat was kind of iffy. But my bench and deadlift was pretty good, which I got the qualifying total to go to regionals for
Mhm.
March. Um, for my weight class. So then, that's what my main focus was, just to get a good qualifying total, just to go to the next step to powerlifting, basically.
I was asking you like, what's your end goal with powerlifting? Where do you want to be?
I want to compete in worlds. I want to compete like just to represent Team Canada,
Mhm.
just to see like where I can go with this. I believe that I have a really good like SBD for my height and my weight.
Yeah.
Especially like I want to represent like us, of course, the Yukon.
Hmm. Yeah.
And because Yukon is like a small territory place, and I just want to like be that person who like, this kid is just like he's 17 years old. He's like competing against these high top like athletes around the world, you know? Like that's a good mindset to have.
Yeah, no, 100%. And I think it's good that you come from like a small place and you kind of want to, you have that sort of sense of like, this is my place, like I want to represent, right?
Yeah,
Um,
exactly.
and I guess, with that, like, what is kind of your objective with going back to like the Instagram? What is your objective with that? Like, what are you trying to accomplish with that, right? Just kind of make a name for yourself or,
Basically just like I've always loved Gymshark. Gymshark was always my favorite clothing brand for the gym industry. So I was like, oh, like I hope one day I have a goal to like maybe reach 10K. Just I don't know, I just love seeing these like fitness influencers, especially like powerlifters, how
yeah.
they increase their numbers just by like all these videos and just like it's a relatable videos that you can watch.
That's one thing that I was gonna mention. Like if you were go through your page, you can see that all those videos are sort of like relatable videos, right? And it's kind of like
Yeah,
it kind of hooks you, right? Because you're like you're
exactly.
scrolling and you're like, oh wait, that's me. You know what I mean? Like you just keep and I feel like that's kind of a big reason for your growth, right? Finding that relatable ground, right?
Yeah.
Um, and sort of, with the Instagram, right? Do you want to sort of like branch off and maybe use that to maybe get into you know, training people or doing like a course or something like that eventually.
I was really thinking about that. Just before I go to Westerns, I am if I hit maybe to like 15, 10 to 15K, potentially I will start up maybe a program for
Mhm.
like people who want to start like bodybuilding or powerlifting, either one, and have a just a 12-week program for people who want to achieve their goals, especially like for strength or for endurance or for like muscle, like all that
Yeah,
stuff.
whatever the goal is, right?
Exactly.
Um,
Exactly.
yeah, no, and for sure, I kind of see how you can use that Instagram, right? There's a lot of people out there who, utilize their personal brands to kind of grow whatever their product they're selling, whatever it is, right? The course, the mentorship, whatever it is, right? Do you set tangible goals for yourself, right? Do you set like, okay, I want to reach 5K in a month, I want to reach 10K here, or is it more of like I'm just gonna consistently post and see what happens?
Well, it's kind of for both. I did make a goals for 2024, just hitting 10K before the Westerns, obviously. And I want to help people who want to like I personally want to like make a program for people who want to grow their strength or muscle building. So, and then for reals, and Instagram in general, I consistently post daily every single morning, but then later that day I would maybe make two videos
Mm,
that night and see which one I should post the next day, basically.
mm.
And
And
then
sort of, what are some tips for Instagram Reels? Like, what are some things that you're doing on Instagram that might be different than other people?
uh what's different is like maybe I'm posting consistently every single morning
Hmm.
where I'm posting like just content where it could be relatable for people in general in the gym, you know? It's mainly just a gym like content that I'm making for
Yeah.
those people, yeah.
No, that's cool. And sort of, I know your channel kind of relies on kind of being relatable. Do you see yourself ever kind of like expanding out of that, maybe going into like more content like this, like talking head, and like you see yourself moving into that? Or
I kind of see myself like moving to like maybe vlogs, like maybe
mm,
doing some lifting vlogs, like day in the life of all
like
that
sort of
stuff.
like a Sam Sulek type,
Yeah,
like
something
sort
like
of getting into that?
yeah. I was debating of like making a YouTube channel, but I'm not sure about that yet. But maybe right now just for like Instagram and then see where that grows.
Yeah, no, and I mean, you already have a decent following, right? If you were to start a YouTube, like a lot of those followers would come in, right, just from being on Instagram, right? And
Yeah.
YouTube, it's different, right? It's a completely different sort of feel, right? The long form versus the short form, right? Um,
Mhm.
I guess you could also use YouTube for your competitions, right? That'd be great to like post and kind of continue getting that out there, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Can you like talk a little bit more about like how like powerlifting competitions work? Because I mean, like me personally, like I don't know that much about it to kind of.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. So for powerlifting competitions, it usually works as like you get like so there's for Canadians it's CPU, right? It's like the whole like organization for all in Canada.
Mhm,
They have that for US, they have that for the British Columbia like the UK.
mhm.
And there's like associations where it's like there's British Columbia, there's Toronto, like Ontario, Montreal, So
Yeah,
for me, I'm the closest to Vancouver, British Columbia. So I'm in BCPA, and I can compete for anywhere in Vancouver or in British Columbia
mm,
because I have a membership there. You can register on the website for like maybe to 100 to $160 depending on what event.
yeah.
And then what I did for my last meet was I came to Vancouver before a day before the competition. I got my food that I needed for the meet, and meet days are long. Like they can go for I don't even know 4 to 5 hours, but
Yeah.
people start at like 8 o'clock, maybe earlier, and then end at like 9 or 10, depending on what event it is.
And how many people are at these meets? Like a lot.
Dude, dude, it's crazy.
And what do you have like you kind of go do your event and it's like what the couple minutes that you're out there and then you just gotta have to wait or how does that work?
Basically, basically,
Yeah.
there's like flights. There's like, I think for my last meet there was two flights at for one time. So there's flight one, flight two. There's a list of people, and then it goes all from flight one to flight two. They go from squats, and then go back to flight one, bench, and then
Yeah.
like go back
All the
up.
way
And
through.
it's a lot, but then you only do it once, three times for each like yeah.
Yeah.
Don't know how to explain it. And then but then there's always like extra racks, extra like benches and weights in the back, sort of, or for me, it was on the side where you can just like warm up,
Okay, that's
basically.
what I was gonna ask. I was gonna ask, how does that like I need a warm up if I'm trying to,
Yeah.
what I mean, hit a PR like that. So, um,
Exactly, yeah.
yeah, and sort of you get like your 2 minutes, and then that's kind of it, or how like,
Basically it goes at a time. So let's say you're competing, let's say your name comes up first, right?
mhm.
And you're doing your squat, your first attempt. There's three attempts for each lift.
Okay,
So there's squat, bench, deadlift. You're going by your first attempt for squat, and then I'm going after you're done. There's there's um there's there's like lights, three white lights, two to three white lights is a good lift. Having zero all three reds is bad. Like you get no lift.
Okay.
Then if you get like all good lifts, I'm next. There's only 1 minute on the clock, I think, just to get like settled in, do your lift, and then go back,
To the
basically.
line.
It's
Yeah.
basically a line, you know?
Yeah. And you said you were probably better at bench or
Oh no, I'm probably better
squat?
uh squat and deadlifts.
Okay. Yeah, no.
For being a small person like me, it's just kind of it's good for my like mobility, something like that.
Yeah, no, for sure. I've never really heard anything about like, competitive lifting. I mean, I've seen it, right? But I don't know anything about it, right? Like the
Yeah,
casual person, I'm not like don't really know much about it. So that's why I wanted to ask about it.
yeah, yeah,
So going back to like Instagram, right? I know like in your bio you have an affiliate link and that sort of thing, right?
yeah.
Can you talk a little bit about how like that came about and
Yeah. So during the powerlifting like stage I'm in currently, I I saw I was like, oh, Retaliation Project is like a really nice brand I like, you know. So I want to like see if I can be in their affiliate program. So I signed up. I waited a couple of days, and then one morning I woke up. I was like, I looked at my emails. I was like, oh shit, I got accepted to be like being a like affiliate for like an ambassador for this brand.
how
So
does that
then
work? Is it just like an application you show them like your Instagram
it's
or
it's
something?
basically it's basically like an application sort of. You go on their website. There's an application like affiliate application. You put in your name, birth date, and then I think your Instagram or something like that, and you just like wait for a few days, and then they'll see if they accept you. And
Interesting.
then after that, um, yeah, I just been representing that.
And so have you made like a lot of money off of that or have you made any?
I made some money. I made some money.
Okay.
I
Yeah.
meet some people. Yeah,
Yeah,
there's
no,
like some
that's
who follow me, and then they just like they DM me like, oh, the user code. I was like, oh, thanks, bro. You know, something like
yeah,
that.
just like say yeah. Um, would you want to ever kind of build your own brand around something like that or
Speaking about building my own brand, I did have my own clothing brand for a while.
really?
Just before I did powerlifting, it was last year. Last year I had a clothing brand. It was called Effect, EFFECT. And
Okay.
it was kind of like a streetwear gym clothing brand,
Yeah.
but it was very hard to maintain, especially when I was in Asia for a whole summer and I
Yeah.
had no one to help me because like it was communication was really hard, especially time zones. So but I had that clothing brand. I made pump covers. I made oh, what else I make? I made some zip ups. I made hoodies. Um, the t-shirts, the signature t-shirts I've made were probably the best selling ones I've made so far because of how simple and clean it was. It was like a gray and black, and it was just simple, like just effect right here.
Yeah.
And everyone in Whitehorse, especially in my hometown gym, they would like ask me about it, like go to school, like, yo, do you have this in stock? Do you have this in size? I'm like, all right, word, I got you next day. And
Yeah. So
$36 right there. You
so
know?
it was something that you would kind of like order and then like take it to the people or like how
Basically, I had like a manufacturer
oh
and
okay. Yeah.
I order them and then maybe it'll come in like 2 to 3 weeks, depending. And then I'd put them in stock, put them on my website, Instagram, and then next day or like same day, people would be like, yo, let me cop this. And then I'd be like, okay, meet me here. And then boom.
Yeah.
Literally 30 minutes before I released it. That's crazy.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Um
Sorry, 1 month, before I've made over $2,000 in revenue for that whole clothing brand, and then but in profit I made like maybe like a 1,400. So
Yep,
it's not
still
bad.
really good. Yeah.
Oh yeah, not
Especially
bad.
because like it seems like it's kind of like a side thing, right? Like you're just kind
Yeah,
of like
yeah,
doing
yeah.
it. Yeah. No, that's
Exactly.
awesome. And going back to like the branding and everything, how much time are you kind of putting into your Instagram a day? Like, is it like a lot or?
Not really. It's kind of like especially I got school, so I'd be posting it like I mean now it's Christmas break still.
Yeah,
Um,
same.
yeah, so then I would go on Instagram, you know, scroll for a little bit, see what's trending. Boom, copy the exact same video, use the same sound, and then maybe just switch out the title a little bit,
Hmm.
but the caption like of the video, maybe I'll switch it up a little bit, you know. And I'd post it. I'd like make two of them, and I put in my drafts. And then later that day, I'd just like, okay, just leave it, you know.
Yeah.
And the next day, I'd post one of them, and then just get off Instagram. That's it.
Yeah, no, that seems like like a super cool like idea just seeing the most trending things, right? Because I feel like a lot of people, they get on Instagram, they want to be different, they want to be doing their own thing. I feel like
Yeah.
if you just model the things that are working, you'll
Mhm.
be successful, right? Um,
Exactly.
and I feel like I don't know, like when I first reached out to you, right? I saw your follower count, you were like 4,000 something, and then
Yeah.
now like I check and you're at like 5.6. So what has this
Yeah.
like crazy growth been in the last couple of days?
Oh yeah. Just before like Christmas, one of my like old videos like really like went off, which is crazy. Like,
Yeah.
cause like I posted it one time, it was like maybe like 200 to 600 views, and then I'm like, okay, just leave it. Fast forward like a week, boom, it's like thousands, like hundred thousands, and then that same day, I like gained 1,000 to 2,000 followers. I'm like, what? That's
Yeah,
crazy.
that's crazy. Yeah, no. I mean, that kind of shows you just consistency, right? If you have a good
Exactly.
idea, just keep it going, right?
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
Sort of the same thing with the gym, right? Just consistency is key, right?
It's consistency. It's kind of like it's just not even motivation. It's just kind of like, oh, I get to go to the gym, it's a nice feeling. Like I have like kind of no outside life. I like spending time with my friends after the gym, like go out for food,
Mhm.
maybe go out like um hang out, but
Yeah.
not as much because since school is like up my ass.
Yeah. I mean, how do you balance like school and I mean, do you plan on going to university? Like what is the end goal?
Um, well, I only have like two classes this semester and next semester, which is only like pre-cal and English. So that's
Hmm.
kind of it. And the next semester I got like biology and law. So it's like it's decent, but then I leave right in the afternoon, so I have time to go to the gym, do my workout, and then go back home, go eat,
And
and
is
then
this your last year of are you in university now
oh no,
or
I'm going to university in September.
in September next year? And you're like last year of high school?
This is my last year of high school.
Okay.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
And
Yeah.
I'm planning to go to university in Alberta, if you have never heard of it. It's
Yeah, I
like
know we're
yeah.
in Canada, right? In Alberta, that's one of the provinces, right? Or
Something like
okay.
that. Taking kinesiology of course. I gotta learn
Yeah.
about the body and stuff like that. So
I mean, it
yeah,
fits right in, right?
exactly. Gotta like learn like the human bodies and like help people. Maybe be like a sports trainer. Who knows?
Yeah, maybe I don't know if you've ever thought of like being, like a trainer for someone like aside from like sports, right? Like maybe like gym
Yeah.
stuff. Would that like be something you would pursue?
I'd probably pursue into something like that. I think
That's
it's a good
cool.
idea.
And it's kind of cool how you're able to kind of like passively build up this Instagram. I mean, for people who are watching this and they want to do the same thing, right? What's like the one piece of advice you would tell them?
I've been telling people on my DMs, like, yo, I'm telling you, it's consistency. It's like the effort that you put into this. Make a brand new account. Start fresh,
Mhm.
You gotta start fresh. Um, and like just post consistently early in the morning, just because Instagram can like see it and then people will engage it throughout the day. So
Mhm.
that at night, maybe it'll come to like 10K views, maybe like 300K likes, whatever, something like that.
Yeah.
Find a niche. Find a niche of what you like. It could be mountain biking. It could be gym.
Whatever.
Exactly. It could be whatever you want. You could be following your favorite influencers, and then Instagram will read that.
Mhm.
And then like let the Instagram algorithm just like take over. That's it.
Yeah. No, that reminds me, I have to post today. I haven't posted. So yeah, I'll do that after this.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, like starting I had, one thing that I really struggle with, right, is I like spread out, right? I have way too many things going on at once. I want to do all these things, right? Like I want to get into like I was one of the people that like they started with trying to do drop shipping, then they kind of went into
Mm,
like e-commerce, and like now SMMA, right? I'm in the agency, right? And I started my own agency and had, some success with that, right? And then now I'm working at an agency with real estate, right? So it's kind of like this like journey, right? Where like I never
yeah,
really found like what I wanted to do, but I just kept trying things, right? And I feel like if I would have just sat down and like actually consistently just done one of those things, I would have had success with any of them,
exactly.
honestly.
Yeah.
So I feel like that's like the one tip I would give for Instagram, right? Is sort of just stick to it, I feel like. And
Hmm.
I gotta follow my own advice. So
Exactly.
keep uploading and everything.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like same thing as like the gym. Obviously, like the first few days, few weeks, few months is gonna be hard. Like, being consistent. You gotta be like one day. Obviously, day one is gonna be hella hard. Day two is gonna be harder. Like it'll get harder
Mhm.
over time. But then it'll adapt to your like lifestyle. It's like, okay, I'm going to the gym the next day. It's like a pattern. It's like a rhythm that you're doing.
Almost a habit, right? Like just
Basically, yeah.
yeah. Um No, I feel that like especially like if you're first starting on Instagram, like you might not see any progress in like maybe your first week, maybe even first 2 weeks, right? You probably not even on YouTube, right? You post like if you're posting like every day for like a couple months, that's when you start seeing progress, right? And I feel like it's like one of your videos blows up and then like everything else just comes along with it, right? So it's sort of that.
It kind of depends on like the video. It
Well, I
just
mean, yeah, it does depend, but I mean, like for example, like you were saying, right? Like the growth that you got from that one video that ended up blowing up, right? I mean,
mm,
that's sort of what I'm talking about, that sort of growth.
yeah, yeah.
But yeah, um, so let's go back to talking a little bit more about like school and everything and how you're like managing both school and the
Mhm.
gym and then like competing and then Instagram and all these different things that you're doing, right? Do you feel like, you're still able to focus at school and like keep locked in
Oh,
with every...
100%, 100%.
Okay.
It's just like I aside Instagram. Instagram is not really like a need. It's just kind of like a post, leave it, boom.
Yeah.
Focus on one thing, focus on what's mandatory for me, like school, obviously. And
Mhm.
then I know that maybe I have homework that same day, but then after school, I leave in the afternoon. I go to the gym an hour or two, and then go back home, do some homework, and then maybe I'll go check on Instagram again, see what's up. And then therefore, it's like, okay, maybe I repeat that shit again.
Yeah, I know. Like I'll
Exactly.
get in these like sort of moods where like I'll be just like obsessed over something like Instagram, just like constantly putting out stuff, and it's like because I want to see like that progress, right? Like that instant progress, but I know that it's really not going to come in like these first couple of days. It's just time, right? And
Mm,
I struggle with that a lot of times. I feel like a lot of people struggle with that same mentality of like I want to just get it going, and then it'll start growing, right? But I feel like it's more about that time that you put in over the course of a couple months, right?
yeah.
Um,
You just gotta
yeah,
like be patient with it, Like it might not blow up maybe like a few minutes, few hours, but maybe check out that later night, it'll maybe blow up depending on what like you posted. Like
yeah, I
for all
know.
the videos I posted were like maybe to 5 to 6 seconds long, and it just
Mhm.
repeats. And it's just like a good like way to like attract the audience, you know?
And the good thing with like the type of videos that you post, right, is you know how the Instagram algorithm works, right, where it takes the average view duration and depending on the percentage of people that viewed through the whole thing, right? Because
Yeah.
Instagram, what it wants is people on its app, right? If there's people on the app, then it's fine with your video, right? If your video is making people stick around, that means that your video is going to get pushed out, right? So if you're doing that shorter content, right, with maybe something in the caption or something that like a lot of people, like if they're looking at your videos, I'm sure they go to the comments, right? Like that's the
Yeah.
first thing that they'll check, right? So getting that sort of like engagement and sort of the view duration is key to growing on Instagram, right?
Yeah. Yeah,
I
of
know,
course.
yeah, you could like sort of how did you get into the style of videos that you're posting? Was it just kind of like you looked at the trending things, you're like, I'm gonna copy this and see if it turns out,
Basically,
or
just kind of just copy and pasted off people things. So there's like I might see on my like my explore page where a guy who posted um tag a homie you can bench. That one like blew up pretty quick.
Hmm.
Um and he would maybe get like, I'd say 5K views and maybe like 150 likes. I'd maybe copy that because it's not really as much trending, but it's good amount of like views and amount of likes. So
Hmm.
I'd post it and maybe it would blow up more than his. It just depends on like what video like you decide you can copy.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, it depends. You kind of have to take the style of it, more of like just copy and pasting it, right? And
Exactly.
taking your own spin on it. Um,
And you gotta like find like the video that tracks someone. Like my background, like videos I use, maybe it's like me doing dips, maybe me doing bench, and then me repping out something,
mhm,
basically. And then it's just a repeat. So then maybe it would attract someone. So
mhm. Yeah, and also like, how do you like? Do you know kind of like who your audience is, and do you look at like who it is like viewing your videos and that sort of thing?
I stalk them a little bit. Just
Well, I mean, no, because a lot of creators they don't do that, right? They don't look at who's watching their videos, so then they don't know
yeah,
who you're posting to, right? Yeah,
yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, I feel like it's common sense, but a lot of people don't do that, right?
Yeah, no, I get that. I mean, if I get a new follower and people like it, obviously I'm just gonna like, I'm gonna stalk them a little bit. Is it like, what are they posting? Maybe like it's not gym related, then maybe I'll like remove them as a follower, depending what it is, you know?
Yeah, no. Yeah. Um, yeah, I mean, I guess we've been on here for a little bit here. Do you want to sort of wrap things up? We'll talk a little bit about like any last words or any
Uh,
last piece of advice for people watching.
my advice for people who's watching right now, shit, go make some food, go eat your protein, be consistent in the gym, and always make a goal for yourself before anything you want to before you start something, you know?
Yeah, have
Be,
like
be
an end
consistent.
objective.
Exactly. Be consistent what you love and what you like to do and stuff like that.
Yeah, no. All
Exactly.
right. Well, if you guys watched this video and found it entertaining, feel free or informational, feel free to drop a like and a sub on the video. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see y'all in the next one.